We are living through extremely difficult times, and this is happening right across the world. From an individual point of view, we or our loved ones may be in the vulnerable group or perhaps even in the at-risk group, risking their lives in the front line to protect and save our lives. We may also feel distress at what we're hearing really in the news, terrible news across the world, particularly from countries where at the best of times people's lives are a desperate struggle and where the virus at the moment is creating absolute havoc. Now, whatever our own personal situation, one thing is for sure, which is that right across the planet, human beings are facing a real challenge, a real turbulent time. We are facing a lot of uncertainty. We really don't know from day to day what's coming at us, what the instructions are going to be, what our life is going to look like really next week. Everything has been turned topsy-turvy. The way that we live our daily life, the way that we connect with people, the way that we go out or don't go out. So really we are having to face, massive, massive change, and we are having to adapt to a very different way of living. Now, uncertainty, insecurity tends to breed, of course, fear, anxiety, stress, and we tend to become quite dysregulated. Now, I'm hoping that in this series of short videos, I can share with you practices and thoughts and ideas that I have found really useful in times of stress. You'll probably see a real proliferation of practices and people offering help in this difficult and turbulent period. So this is really my small attempt at helping out in this period that we are living. We know that faced with uncertainty, feeling that things are out of control can lead to deep anxiety and depression. Now, of course, a lot of what's going on is completely out of our control. It's an external factor. We can do what we can in order to keep safe, to listen to the guidelines, to stay home, and all of those kinds of things. And maybe some other things can make us feel a little bit more in control is doing things that give us a sense of agency. So it could be cooking a meal for yourself, or cooking for somebody else, doing some shopping perhaps for someone who isn't able to go out, or connecting virtually, connecting remotely with people who possibly are lonely. Whatever little things that we can do that make us feel that we're actually doing something, that is very good for us. But another thing that we can do is have some choice about how we react to these external events. And that's really much more to do with our own perception, our own sense of ourselves in this moment. And these practices that I will be sharing with you really belong to that aspect, really that sense of how can we be more in touch with what we're feeling, and how can we regulate ourselves so that we don't get caught up in a quicksand or in a downward quicksand. Now, the first practice that I would like to share with you is actually quite a mechanical one. It's called cardiac coherence, and it's, as the word implies, something to do with coordinating, creating a synchrony, a coherence between our brain, our heart, and our lungs. Now, we know scientifically that the way that we breathe, or the way that our heart beats, also has a huge impact on our feelings. So, for instance, if you'll feel very breathless, you're likely not to feel calm. If your heart is beating very fast, you'll also probably be feeling agitated. So really creating this kind of calm, gentle, regular rhythm helps us to regulate our system. And this exercise has actually been proved to have many, many beneficial health benefits, and it's ideally practiced 3 times a day. It lasts 5 minutes. If you want to find out more about it, you can look it up. It's often called HeartMath as well, so cardiac coherence or HeartMath. and it consists of 5 minutes of breathing into a particular rhythm, breathing in for 5, out for 5, and that will happen over a period of 5 minutes, which I will count you in and out of. And once you get the hang of it, you can definitely do it yourself. So first of all, let's settle ourselves. Try and find a position, again, which feels active but still reasonably calm. And settle yourself. Feel supported by your seat. Have a little smile if that's possible. So it's going to be in through the nose, out through the mouth, as if you were breathing through a straw. Not pursing your lips, not straining. So let's settle, and I shall count you in. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathing in. Out. 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 Breathing in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Last minute in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Last round in, out. And there we are. That was the cardiac coherence exercise. Now, I forgot to say that if you wanted to keep your eyes open, you could, keeping a kind of downward gaze so that you're not, looking at me, or with your eyes shut. Obviously, if you had your eyes wide open, then you were probably distracted by looking at me, which is really not a necessary thing to do. So, eyes open, but with a downward gaze, or eyes shut. Now, I hope that you found this practice easy. Well, maybe not easy, but interesting and possibly useful. And there are different ways of counting yourself in. So there are hand gestures. My sister invented some very beautiful mudras to do it with, which if you're interested in, you can always post a little comment at the bottom of the practice. Or I was thinking you could even do it sort of like this. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. You could use your thumb for first minute, second minute, third minute, fourth minute, fifth minute. You can use your open hand for the 60. So the idea is with our in and out is 10 seconds. We're doing that 6 times. That's 1 minute. And then we're counting 5 minutes like that. So you could also look on YouTube. It's got a lot of even visual guided practices where you see maybe a ball going out for 5, in for 5. So explore it, explore around. You could use a stopwatch. There's nothing to stop you looking down, looking at a stopwatch. So have an explore, and hopefully you'll find it useful. And as I said, if there are any questions or any comments, please feel free to participate. Thank you very much and see you soon.